Gibson Garage expanding further. Here comes the launch of your favorite manufacturers' guitar shops all across the globe. Stay tuned. Hey, it's me, Baxter.
And Jonathan.
Here at Casino Guitars. Thanks for joining us one more time. Coming at you hard and fast.
Fast and hard.
News, not super breaking. We were sort of letting this settle a bit and sort of seeing who else would sort of pop through the woodwinds here. But Gibson has announced in early 2024 they're going to have a new flagship store in Oxford Street, London. Jolly old London town. And it's going to be about 4,500 square feet.
Yes.
To you folks in the UK, I don't know what that translates to in meters.
The metric
liters?
system. Yeah. No one cares.
Don't get me wrong, I could go on a tangent. I feel like we should all probably be on the metric system. It makes, maybe, I don't know.
Nah.
It's a long story. I can't.
I'm gonna go with no.
Well, I mean,
no on that, Baxter.
Every time I see that, I'm like, dang, you're drinking beer already? Why don't I have a beer?
I'm gonna slowly morph. That's my goal.
Just to become a raging alcoholic.
When you guys start to see this saying Bush, you'll know.
I know.
You know, I've met my goal.
You're a Bud Light man through and through. Just let it be. Now, this is something we don't like to say we told you so.
Or do we?
But we definitely told you so in this one years ago.
I don't know.
This is the future of what's going to happen. All of our favorite manufacturers are going to be launching retail sort of operations across the globe. You know, Fender's got theirs in Tokyo coming up. Or open now, I guess.
I guess it probably is, right? Yeah. We should check them out. I don't know.
I keep asking them to send us out there because I want to go see it.
I check them out every day for our tickets.
Yeah, they would mail us the first class tickets.
We haven't gotten them yet.
I want to go. I even talked to the head of Fender Asia briefly on the internet. I was like, I thought we were going to have a thing happen. I was excited. We're going to make this happen. We're going to have the best expose story on how Casino Guitars helped make Fender Asia. But that's another story. It's not true.
I mean, but seriously, how cool would it be to go see? I bet it's amazing in Tokyo.
I bet it's amazing, yeah. I'm already ripping some ideas off that for our new showroom we're building. But anyway, so Gibson has launched this, and it's going to be opening soon. Don't get us wrong. We think the Gibson Garage is fantastic, outstanding. The people that work there are cool. It's beautiful, but it's a changing sort of landscape of how retail and shopping for your instruments is going to work, perhaps.
Baxter, no, it's just a showcase. It's just a showcase for the brand. I mean, because I think that's kind of the thing they put out there. And again, no, we do love the Gibson Garage, right?
But when I hear that as the pitch, though, I'm like, well, that's not true because when they released the Greenie last year, that was exclusively through the Gibson Garage. Yeah. Their top sellers from Wildwood to Chicago Music Exchange were not given the option to sell those Gibsons at all, which I think is insane.
I mean, well, like I was having a conversation with one of our dear friends, who I won't mention his name, but he's about to go on he has a certain acoustic that he really wants.
It's not the Noel Gallagher one.
It's not the Noel Gallagher. It's nothing new coming out. It's just a thing that exists, And I was talking about sort of going on a guitar safari with him maybe potentially at some point.
This is like a real friend. I like this.
It's a real friend. And there were talks of Wildwood, different places, but eventually, and I agreed with him, we sort of settled on the fact that, hey, the coolest experience is probably going to the Gibson Garage. You know what I mean?
They did the shop really well.
Yeah.
And I think from the debacles of sort of the Greenie experience with a lot of their serious partners, some of the biggest shops, I think they're changing their policy on that a bit.
Okay.
I don't think they're going to do any more releases like that because the ire.
Was that directly from blowback from the shop saying, hey, we could have sold this $50,000? I mean, yeah.
Some of the shops I know could have sold all of them, and those are the shops
that's true,
that have sort of weathered the storms with Gibson, have built the brand from Gibson for decades to you look at someone like Chuck Levins, 70 years. You think about how many CEOs has Gibson been through and changes or all the manufacturers I'm talking about.
Well, imagine that you are a top tier Gibson dealer in London. And suddenly, bam, here's the Gibson Garage. I mean, how do you compete with that? You just can't.
You can.
I mean, you can.
This is the thing. Those shops they've built their business by being amazing. We're looking at Peach and Anderton's. And
right.
Those are the two of our favorites, the online monsters as well. But then there's lots of other great shops right downtown that are Gibson dealers too. And it's going to be tricky, but they've built their business on amazing customer service and just being cool.
Yeah, right.
And it's just places where all the rock stars go to buy their gear. And and then some of those will probably pivot to.
I mean,
pre-owned.
Well, yeah, of course you're going to get the people you have relationships with, because that, you know, hopefully, hopefully it's good relationships. But I don't know. I feel like you're missing out on those tourist visits and those things where people are like visiting and they're like, hey, let's just go in here and check it out. Because we get that. People come in to play golf occasionally, you know, or whatever event they're coming to town for, because we live in a cool little place.
What's that sport that's all popular now? The when you hit the, it's not tennis, but it's like fake tennis.
Pickleball.
It's like grown-up ping pong, sort of.
I feel like we're not going to play it, but I feel like we should make Casino Guitars pickleball team shirts.
We started like a parkour group too with Peter Ellman at one point. We're doing that, but that's another side note. No,
we jump off buildings. It's great.
God, you said just like parkour in the office.
Imagine how quickly we'd die. I mean, like some people do that, we would die. Like
I'd be dead immediately.
My knees hurt right now thinking about it.
It's tricky. Yeah. It is a double-edged sword, because I do love the Gibson Garage. Like every time I'm in Nashville, I go there. It's cool. And as a flagship, sort of like reaching out, as long as, you know, it would be tough though if one opened up right next door to my place where I work.
But I mean, you know, we love Gibson Garage. It's a cool experience. Like you said, we love the dudes who work there. They have super knowledgeable, they did a really good job hiring the staff that works there.
Well, and they're guitar lovers too.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like those guys know guitars. They love guitars. I feel like they actually want to help you. It's like when you go into a good guitar center and there are good employees there. It's like, wow, this is what this could be. It's amazing. Yeah. But it is questionable if you're
it's a tricky thing happening now. So we sort of foresee this happening with all the manufacturers sort of field testing this a little bit and seeing how this works. You know, Taylor went direct. Yeah. PRS opened up its first flagship store in downtown Akron. That was a joke.
That's not true.
I want to see if that flew anywhere.
Who would open an Akron? I'm just kidding. Ohio? What? Do you think, is this the inevitable next step to selling direct? Like factory stores?
Well, it's funny though, because it's almost like ass backwards if you think about it, because everybody's trying to sell direct right now. People want to cut out the shops. They want to cut out having to carry a retail space, but then they're like, well, we're going to open up
the retail space
now, and maybe here's the swing. Maybe this is a positive.
Yeah.
Like in a strange way, it's going to force all of the existing retailers to really like improve their game a bit and be able to offer things that would draw you in, or just think, you know, it's going to limit some of the retailers that just can't compete in the sort of future cycle of what's coming out, like us.
It's just a weird thing. Like the other day, I was somewhere playing, and there was a factory that makes the like Ryobi, like little battery powered tools, and they had like a factory store. And it reminded me when I was a kid, my parents both worked for Sara Lee, like the textile mill, and we had to go to the factory store and buy socks that were like slightly weird. And I was like, can't we just buy regular socks? And they were like, no, because we're poor. But it kind of reminds me of that.
We used to have that outlet store here next to Food Lion, and next to the Mexican place in town, like where it had like, that's where I used to get my socks too, because they're
socks, your pantyhose, all your pantyhose needs.
I didn't even realize. I didn't even think about it, like that was because they were not right. That's so funny.
The second's got to go somewhere, Baxter.
And I was talking to my wife the other night. We're like, God, we got to get some new sheets because our dog is sort of messed up the duvet or whatever thing, the comforter. I think that's the fancy word for a comforter. And she's like, well, we can't. I'm like, why not? Because Tuesday morning's gone now. I'm like, oh, yeah, we can't pay full price for our sheets. That'd be crazy. Crazy thoughts.
It's crazy.
No, so I mean, if I'm in London, will I make an extra trip to stop by Gibson Garage? Yeah, most likely.
Yes,
if it's anywhere where I am, I go to any guitar store anywhere I am, and whenever I'm in Nashville, I always go. It's just part of what I do. I mean, it's fun.
Be crazy not to go.
I would be curious to know everyone's thoughts and like if they see this as sort of the tipping point and sort of changing the attempted changing nature.
I still think the sort of. I mean, obviously, Nashville is where the Gibson factory is, so that makes sense, right? That's where headquarters are. I think the thing that's going to be tipping is like if we start seeing more pop up in the same country.
It's tricky because obviously the profit center for them is going to be it's hard pressed because like London real estate's insane, and with Fender real estate in Tokyo, like what they chose there, that's insanity for what they're paying there. And I know Fender has some other plans as far as sprinkled about the universe here for putting some cool places. I hope it works out well, and we'll see what Gibson lays if they go. They got London, they got Nashville. I mean, New York's an option, LA's an option, Aberdeen's an option.
Aberdeen, North Carolina, Center of the universe.
That would be funny if they did like, you know, Gibson Garage Fayetteville. I think it'd be awesome.
Vietnam.
I mean, I would go all the time.
Yeah.
Hands down, I'd be there. If Gibson, if you're opening one in Fayetteville, we'll be there.
We'll be there.
I'll even work there if you'd have me.
It'd be even better if it was like in Rayford.
Or Hamlet.
Or Hamlet. That would be amazing.
Happier.
There's a
We're
great
not dissing
building.
on this place. We love all these places, but it'd be
I
cool
love
to have
Hamlet.
one.
Hamlet's it's where I was born.
Homestead.
Born and raised.
We're big fans.
I am a big fan. Lots of trains.
So just ears to the old banana peels here, and we'll keep listening and let you know any more new stuff coming from these major behemoths of these guitar companies that we love. And love to hate on some of their weird decisions, but this one's not one of those yet. It's just kind of a crazy cool thing. And so if you're in London, prepare yourself. Early 2024, Oxford Street. If you live above it, hats off to that. The guys that live above CME, man, that's a bonus.
I just want to see things like the Dean carport. You know, not quite the Gibson Garage, but it's a carport.
That was funny.
The Dean.
It took me a minute to process everything you just said.
I want to see things like that. You know,
I can't even think of one. I was thinking one for like Dan Electro too.
like
The drive-in theater.
the Dan Electro Den. I don't know. You're really bad. I just hope everyone does it. It's gonna be great.
The Daisy Rock She Shed. So how does Daisy Rock do their marketing now? I just think, as I said that in my brand, like,
I haven't seen anything from them in a while. We'll have to pull that up later.
it was like guitars for girls. Or it was like, well, any guitars for girls. Oh no, they're just these guitars are not for just girls. They're for everyone now. I'm curious what they would do.
I imagine
with
they've rebranded.
the changing landscape of America.
I don't know.
So let us know if you're Daisy Rock diehard and you know the answer. Just tell us.
A Daisy Rock diehard. I love it.
Somebody's gonna have that tattooed after that.
Someone does.
I'm going home. Click like, subscribe.
Hit the old bell.
Thanks for joining us. Good luck, Gibson Garage, London.
Yes.
Crikey, mate.
Goodbye.